Hey everyone, welcome to week 11, we're in double digits now, of Church with Jess. That's me. Thank you so much for continuing to tune in and listen to me preach for another week. That's awesome. Thanks for your support. Let's dive right in. We're doing the Crystal Allies deck this week. We just have them in rotation. So that's this one. And I hope you saw that. Crystal Ally Evolution Edition. Really great deck. One of my favorites. So today... this is what I meditated on and asked the divine source, just with everything that's going on in our world right now. I just had to ask, what's the first step that we need to take to build the better world that we want to see? I think we all want a better world, at least the majority of people. You know, things have been going wrong for a long time, and it's time to get it right. And we've been talking a lot about, searching within. But it's time to gain some clarity on what our next move is, as things are changing, things are constantly changing. Some sense of normalcy, if you will, whatever that might be to you, is kind of, being reintroduced. But also, just as that's happening, there's a lot of civil unrest happening, rightly so. So what is the next step, the next stepping stone, the next path that we need to follow to be able to build that world that we want to see? What are we fighting for right now? What are we truly fighting for, and what are the changes that we want to see that will benefit humanity for now, for many future generations to come until the next shift. Speaking of shifts, as happens every so often, we are in the midst of a great planetary shift. It's a wake-up call that we as a collective unit need to change our way of thinking, our way of being, and our general way of life. The world is in chaos, and more people than ever are waking up. It's up to my generation and the generation beyond to stand up and speak up and demand change. It really is up to us. No change has ever come about in this world by just sitting down and staying quiet and doing nothing. We have to raise our voices, and we have to be heard. We have to be loud. We have to demand what we want, demand the changes that we want to see in this world. And I say that, I feel like more people are waking up, and I think that's the truth. And I think, in the midst of this pandemic, this global crisis, I think, and just with all the misinformation and the lies that we're being fed just to create fear, I think a lot of people are stepping back, as they're searching within themselves and saying, hey, something's not right here. Something's not adding up, and people are becoming more woke, as the kids are saying these days. People are coming more woke, and once you wake up, it's impossible to go back to sleep. So but I think it's really important for people to wake up and do their own research and come up with their own conclusions, and not just listen to the biased media. And that goes for either side. It's all biased information. And also, literally, I mean, anybody can put anything that they want on paper. Anything they want to say can come out of their mouth. We have freedom of speech here, in this country. And anybody can write a book about anything. You have to decide what's true and what's not. And you can't just take things at face value. I see so many things being blasted on social media that's just getting spread like a virus, because people see it and they're like, oh yeah, that must be true, because maybe this person said it that I like or that I follow, and so they'll spread it, and then how many other people see that and think the same thing and then spread it, and it might not even be truthful information or facts or anything that is based on any sort of research or anything like that. So just be careful, what you feed into, and just I highly recommend to just always ask questions. Don't take anything at face value. Don't just sit down and do what you're told and comply just because the powers that be, might tell you to. Use your voice and stand up. And, if you have, this privilege, I feel like I was born with this privilege that I never asked for and I never wanted, but this is the way of our society. And if you have that, you need to use that in a powerful way, and in a powerful way that is meant to bring good. Use your voice, use your platform to spread the word and spread the message of love and light and positive energy and radiance and beauty, and brotherhood. We're all brothers and sisters. I say this all the time, that we're all human beings inhabiting the planet Earth. We divide ourselves with borders, with walls, with religion, with gender, with race, with whatever little box we can tick off. Like I said last week, you have to have the philosophy that there is no box that you have to fit into. There's no box. So just be yourself and search within yourself and find the answers, because they're already there within you, So we'll get into the reading now, but that was basically my question. Just, what's the next step that we need to take, or maybe the first step that we need to take, just to bring about the changes that we want to see, and not just in society, but in just our general way of life, our general well-being, and the planet and the planet's well-being and the planet's health. Because if the planet is healthy, then its people are healthy too. So I decided to do a Trinity reading today, which is 3 cards. And I just felt that type of reading just kind of resonated with me immediately, just based on my question, based on the times that we're in right now. Just to tell you just a bit about the Trinity. So basically, it's a 3-card reading. The first card is the physical, the second is the mental, and the third is the spiritual. There it is again. 3 cards. From right to left. Right is the physical, the left one is the mental, and the top card is spiritual. I think of the top as the crown, the crown chakra, which is what leads us to the divine, to the source, to God. When that chakra is open, then we're open to receive the blessings. So, just to tell you a little bit about the first card. So the first card, again, represents the body and physical aspects of the question you are exploring. This card indicates the action called for and suggests the idea or concept that can guide your actions in the appropriate direction for the highest good of all concerned, which totally just plugs right back into my question, which is what's the next step we can take? What is the action that we need to start creating the world that we want? So consider the actions that have led you to this point and the choice of the actions that you now have available to you. Now hold the keyword for this ally in your mind as you review them. Your crystal ally will give you clear direction as to which action is most appropriate to take at this time. So that keyword is my favorite. Magic. So hold that in your mind. Labradorite is the stone, and I had a beautiful labradorite necklace, but I gave it to my nephew Bentley because he asked for it. He resonated with it, I guess, so I gave it to him. So I don't have it anymore to show you, but it's almost like it's like translucent, transparent, I guess, shimmery greens and blues, and I guess kind of like my mood ring, which is not labradorite, it's just a mood ring, but maybe add some like hues of green in there as well. Anyways, it's a really beautiful stone, and I hope my nephew is enjoying all of its benefits. But magic. Think about that while I am telling you about this card, the physical aspect. And I like how it said, consider the choice of actions that we have available to us now. Things have been changing, things have been shifting, things aren't, what they once were, which, is probably a good thing. It's just, you take the bad with the good with the bad. It's all relative. Everyone can see it in a different way depending on our own personal experiences. But yeah, we have to use the resources that we have available to us now to get to where we want to be. So let's talk about magic. So labradorite, as I already said, is magic, represents magic. The symbol for magic, or the stone that represents magic. So the chakras it's associated with are the third eye and the crown. And the affirmation that, again, I'll say all these affirmations at the end, if I remember. So the affirmation, if you are meditating on these cards and really resonating with them, is, I trust the divine to create miracles in my life. Trust the divine to create miracles in my life. So let me tell you just a little bit about the stone. Labradorite is a feldspar that is opaque to translucent with a blue-gray to rainbow-colored chatoyancy called labradorescence. Labradorite is a beautiful stone calling to mind storm clouds and rainbows. And that really resonated with me, just the metaphor of just storm clouds and rainbows, and it's all a cycle, but, when there's a storm, there's always a rainbow after. So, it's like, just know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, I guess. That things aren't always going to be as they are right now. Things are always changing and moving and growing, and it's just a cycle. So with the storm comes the rainbow, and I loved that. I love that about labradorite. Labradorite is a stone used for magic, psychic enhancement, and divination. Despite its dark outer appearance, it holds within its darkness a rainbow of brilliant hues that you can only see when you hold the stone in the light. This visual effect mirrors the energy of this ally, which enables you to work with the unseen realms while purifying your energy in the light. Labradorite is a stone of strength and dualities. It acts as an ally for those who desire to enter the void to gain information and knowledge of the hidden aspects of life. Talking about waking up, the void, going into the void and exploring it. For shamans and magicians, it is a protective and powerful stone that aids in the recall of experiences that one has had in other realms and other lives. So it's a great stone if you're doing any kind of like past life regression therapy or any kind of work like that, to maybe seek answers from a past life. Because we're on this journey, and we have a purpose and we have something that we need to fulfill, and that's what I believe. We're of the earth and we go back to the earth, and it's all a cycle. Everything's a cycle. And I think, if we don't learn the lessons that we need to learn to accomplish the things that we need to accomplish, in our physical bodies that our soul is inhabiting, then we are destined to just keep repeating until we finally get there. Labradorite creates a force field throughout the aura, protecting and strengthening its energies. Labradorite is an important ally to invoke when working with the natural elements. It aids one in sensing nature energies, and when there is a sincere desire to communicate with nature spirits for earth healing or natural magic. And the earth is something that I've been talking about, this entire 11 weeks that I've been doing these readings with you. And this is a wind card, also a wind element card. But labradorite, it's saying that labradorite is a great stone for earth healing, and so it's a great one to come up just as we've been talking about that, and it just shows, how important that is, the healing of our planet and the healing of our people, its people. Incredible synchronicities can occur and opportunities can arise when you are in harmony with the natural world and your inherent sensitivity to the flow of energy. The divine is continually shifting people, situations, and events in co-creation with your intentions. You may not see the effects of these movements in your daily life, but if you tune into the deeper energies that underlie the physical world, you can sense the subtle currents that are moving. It is the ability to sense these energies, respond to them, and work with them that is often called magic by those who can only perceive what has already been made physical. Magic is everywhere. It always has been. It always will be. It's within us. We just have to know how to tap into it. And I think that what that's saying there is just what I already said about, there's so much more than meets the eye. And when we're just looking at the physical aspect of things, of just what's around us and what we know, we're not really experiencing. It's just this race for stuff and stuff that we think makes us happy, and that we just use to keep ourselves distracted from really going within and exploring all there is to explore and awakening, having a spiritual awakening. And I think society really tries to prevent us from doing that by creating all the stuff that it's created. And I often ask myself, why? Why do we not allow ourselves to know what we're truly meant to be? I think we're born knowing it, and as time goes on and as we get more immersed in society, we tend to just forget what that is. And so with meditation and soul searching and regression therapy, any of those things, like we can get back to that place to figure out what that is and what our soul's purpose is and why we decided to come to the physical realm and inhabit a body. We're all just energy. Labradorite supports a sense of mystery and wonder, creating a resonance between all parts of yourself: mental, emotional, physical, energetic, and spiritual. So all the aspects of self, which also is represented by these cards, at least some of those. This alignment enables your total energy to work in harmony so that your divine purpose can unfold, revealing never before considered ideas and paths to follow, which we're looking for that path that we need to go down to get to where we want to be, right? In this way, Labradorite helps you to feel more aligned, hopeful, and on purpose in your life. The energy of Labradorite also helps one to penetrate the veils of the void, where all knowledge and all possibility are held. The void is the place of all potential and is the source of all creation. Labradorite can help you to access this void of potential so that you may bring into this realm the creations and knowledge that will best serve your purpose and the higher good. So you got to go into the void. The best way that we can do that is through meditation. You can start with 5 minutes a day. You can do anything for 5 minutes. You can sit with yourself for 5 minutes, whatever that may be. Even if it's when you're sitting on the toilet in the morning or whenever. Go for a walk, whatever. Take 5 minutes and just start. You can start with breath work to help clear your mind. There's a lot of different techniques that you can do, but start with 5 minutes. Do some research on meditation if you need to. Search within yourself, but it'll build, and before you know it, you'll be doing it for 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, whatever. Sometimes I meditate for 5 minutes. Sometimes I might go sit by the ocean and meditate for, 4 or 6 hours. There's no right or wrong way. Just do what resonates with you. But it's really the best way to get, to access the void. And we've talked about the veil before, the veil between worlds, the physical and the spiritual worlds. So all the answers lie within the void, and you can find them within yourself if you are open to receive and you let the magic in to your life. It's already there. You just have to be open to receive it. So moving on to the second card, which is the mental aspect. The card in this position represents the mind aspect, the level of thought and conscious conception. 1 second, because I'm sorry. I think I just spilled my water. What is going on with me today? Before I get to the second card, let me go back because I don't think I read the meaning of the card for Labradorite. I just told you about Labradorite itself. I was getting too excited there, and I just, same as last week, I start talking and then I forget where I'm at. So sorry, I already took my bookmark off. So bear with me for just a second while I find the Labradorite card again. So I can talk to you about why this card came up. So the message the message that it's giving us. When Labradorite appears as your ally, it is calling you on a journey inward, like I've already been saying, preaching, I guess, if you will, is how important it is to look inward, look inside of your third eye, and find the answers that you're looking for, that you seek. Take a look at the beauty of your life and your spiritual path. Even those things that have seemed dark and dreary now reveal their hidden light, just like the rainbow emerges from the storm cloud. Now is a time when understanding will emerge from confusion, surety from doubt, and truth from illusion. And that is where we're at right now, isn't it? It's just confusion, doubt, darkness. So remember, like I said before earlier, is, you know, the rainbow's coming, and maybe it'll even be a double rainbow, you know. There's a lot of confusion and fear and doubt, and people just looking to certain sources, to social media, to their government, to give them answers. And we keep getting different answers or shifting answers, which is just creating a lot of chaos and a lot of unsureness. And again, like, I just urge you to look within yourself, because the answers are there. They're attainable. They're inside of you. You come from the divine source. Those answers are already within you. So I just urge you to all you have to do is look for them and be open to receive them and to listen. We always have to be listening. Listening is so important. Open your ears, open your eyes, and open your mind. And don't just listen to just what's going on around you, but listen to what's going on within you too, and quiet your mind so that you can hear what the divine source is trying to tell you. Labradorite is here to remind you of the magic that is at work in your life. The subtle currents of energy that are shaping your present and future have created something wonderful for you that is just about to be revealed. Magic is becoming visible to you now. It's like a shining, shimmering dew that illuminates all it touches. You know, I think any of you who have just started on this path and have maybe started with me from the first week of church, you might be feeling that now. You might be really finally seeing the magic. I mean, after 11 weeks of, you know, doing these readings and meditating on the affirmations, you know, I really, really hope those of you that are tuning in are you know, heeding this advice and really searching within and meditating and finding out what you need to know. And if you are, then by now you've probably seen the magic, and you know it's real. So good for you if you've taken that journey with me. Please comment and let me know your experiences. I'd love to hear them. And share this video. Maybe you can help somebody else that needs it. That's why I'm doing this. This is, I feel like, I don't claim to be an expert. I don't call myself a tarot card reader or anything like that. I'm just me. I'm just Jessie, and I think that I am gifted at interpreting the cards, and I also know for a fact that I am a healer, and this is how I can spread the message of love and peace and light, and this is what I can offer to the world right now. So thank you for anybody who has been receptive to this. Let me know. I'd love to hear about it. Take a look at the paths and choices before you. Which seems to sparkle or shimmer in your mind's eye? That path, that may be the path of magic leading you to your dreams. So this was the card, or I think that really, I mean, literally the question, sorry, let me backtrack. The question that I asked was what's the next step, that we need to take to get to where we want to be, and just as a planet, and as the planet shifts, like, what do we want? This is our time to speak up and raise our voice and demand the changes that we want to see. So, there's always, there's many paths, and I think that's why, especially in this book, or you may have heard it before, that, we're considered co-creators with the divine source, because there's always a multitude of paths that we can take, and it's determining which is the right one at the right time. So I think, that the first card, it said it represents, the body and physical aspects, and it directly answers the question that we've asked, and I think it totally did. So let that resonate with you, just everything that I said about that card, because that will help us. And all of us have to do the work, or the vast majority of us have to be willing to do the work in order for those changes to come about into our physical realm. So just think about that. Okay, now moving on to the second card, which is the mind aspect, the level of thought and conscious conception. The ally appearing in this position is revealing the key lesson behind the situation. It can also indicate the thoughts which will be most productive for you, and which would aid you in creating the most positive experience of the situation. So I think you can probably see why this specific reading resonated with me, just with everything that's going on in our world right now. So I think that the card and the stone and the word that are in this house of the reading are really important, because, like it says, it reveals the key lesson behind the situation. And it can indicate the thoughts that'll be most productive to bring about the most positive experience from the situation. And I think that just goes hand in hand with the first card, and also with the question, in what we need to do, what the next step is that we need to take, and taking this time to be productive, to be able to see the changes, or create the changes that we want to see, that will carry on through future generations. It's time to change the world right now. You can't just sit down and wait for somebody else to do it. We're being called to do it right now. So let's do it. Let's figure out what we need to do. So, storm element card, transcendence, diamond. We've actually gotten this card quite a bit. So that should tell us something. So maybe pay attention to what this card says. Transcendence, the diamond. This is certainly a time of transcendence for sure. All right, so the diamond, as I said, represents transcendence. All chakras are represented here within the diamond. I think of its many facets, and imagine that being all of the chakras. The affirmation that you can say when meditating on this card: I cultivate mastery by challenging myself to transcend difficulty. I'll read them again at the end. Diamond is the highest evolution of pure carbon. Most diamonds form in the mantle of the earth when other carbon-based minerals are exposed to extremely high heat and pressure. This process of superheating and compression purifies and restructures the naturally dense and opaque carbon material until it is crystalline and clear. This process of undergoing intense purification and restructuring is a metaphor for the process of transformation, or of transcendence. transformation as well, but transcendence. So think about the process of the diamond being purified and it gets restructured. Well, you can think of yourself that way too. And as we're in this time, and if you've sat with me and you've meditated and you're doing all the self-work that I've been talking about, then you may be undergoing an intense purification and restructuring. To reach your transcendence. And it's a process, and you have to be willing to do the work. It's not an easy process. Nothing worth anything is easy. We're so conditioned by society, and we have to take the time to really do the self-work to find out who we truly are, what we truly need, and who we truly want to be. I started this path years ago, probably 8 years ago, and it's been a slow process, and I've gotten stuck. I've had roadblocks and obstacles, but I have continued down the path, and it's led me here, and I've been doing the work too, and the self-work in this time even extra, because I think it's so important. And it's so important to discover who you were truly meant to be and what your divine purpose is. So that's just the metaphor about transcendence. Spiritually, the process of transcendence is one of rising above your past experiences, problems, situations, and personal state of being by becoming stronger, clearer, and more capable of carrying and reflecting the light. In this process of rising above, you leave behind the old stories and belief systems, clear old emotional patterns, and cleanse the channel of your spiritual consciousness. This process is not easy, as this level of purification and refinement requires that you undergo some pressure and some heat to rise above the past. I think that's just kind of sums up what I just said, basically. Literally, actually. It's not easy. There's going to be a lot of pressure and heat, and, you got to be able to withstand it. And we have to let go of our past problems, our past experiences, to truly change. We can learn from them, and acknowledge them, but we have to let them go. If we hold on to that, we'll never be able to change, because we'll constantly just be stuck in looping back to the past and repeating it. If you don't learn from it, you're doomed to repeat it. Diamond counsels us to recognize the tempering effects of difficult experiences and to use them as the furnace through which you become your strongest, most crystalline self. We all go through difficulties in life, some of us more so than others. And like I said before, if we don't learn from our experiences, from our history, we're destined to repeat it. So, use those experiences, no matter how difficult they are, use them to ignite the furnace, ignite your own self, the furnace within, to become as strong as you can be, just like the diamond. If you do not experience any situations that require you to test yourself, change, or improve, you will probably not have any incentive to grow. While the lack of effort may sound like an easy life, it is not one that helps you to fulfill your soul path. Like I said, excuse me, nothing worth anything is easy. And it's true, if everything's just handed to you, you'll never learn any lessons. And I think the whole point of being here is to learn who we truly are and to learn the lessons so that we can transcend and reach enlightenment and stop coming back, I guess, if you believe in reincarnation, as I do. It's okay if you don't. You don't have to believe the things that I do, and I would never force my beliefs. I'm not about that. We all have to find our own way and our own path, and I just don't think it's right to force your own beliefs on anybody else. There's a lot of people, weak-minded people out there that are easily influenced and just want to do everything that everyone else is doing, and it's no way to live. We're all better than that. We all have our own voice. We all have our own mind, and we really need to start using it. Stop worrying so much about what other people are doing, because other people are out there living their own life and writing their own stories, and you have to write yours. It is not a lifestyle that helps you to temper yourself to become the best you can be, seeking comfort and ease in all things, and in other words, gets you nowhere. There's no call to become a martyr and seek out opportunities to bleed out of some misguided idea that suffering itself is a good thing. Our difficult experiences and situations are opportunities to develop and grow. As you grow, you will naturally have more inner strength and skill to overcome these situations and reveal your true self. It's not saying that, if you've had really difficult experiences, you're better off than somebody else. It's just saying, it's not saying, your life is better because of this, because you have more that you can, take to learn from. It's just saying, it's just any difficult experience, no matter, and it's all relative to who you are and what you're going through. No matter how difficult it is, you have to be able and willing to take it and use it, and to allow yourself to grow and learn. As you grow, I don't know if I said this already, but as you grow, you will naturally have more inner strength and skill to overcome these situations and reveal your true self. And you will see that as you grow. Remember, it's not an instant thing. It's not going to happen overnight. It takes time. Like I told you, I've been on this path for about 8 years now. Really, really on the path. And you will see, you'll look back on certain things and be like, wow, that really worked. Or, that was the law of attraction. Or, I'm finally seeing the lesson in this. Those things will come to you in time. Just stay on the path. Diamond teaches us to be spiritually athletic in our approach to life and to face challenging situations as opportunities. You can seek adventure through creatively solving your problems. You can challenge yourself to improve and gain self-confidence by overcoming your limitations and difficulties. You can increase your inner strength by doing the right thing instead of settling for the comfortable thing. You can find value in striving to live the best life that you are capable of every day. And I think that's so powerful, especially what's going on right now, because you have the power to do the right thing without worrying about what anybody else thinks of you. You know what the right thing to do is within, and you have the power to do that so that everybody is able to live their best life. Through this approach, you will transcend into a version of yourself that can experience more ease, because what was once hard now becomes relatively easy to overcome. And that's not saying that you should just, if you have something difficult happens to you, you immediately start using it to learn from. Like, it's very important to acknowledge your feelings and your emotions and what you're going through. Acknowledge it, explore all aspects of it before you release it, and before you try to learn something from it. Diamond teaches that you can not only overcome your hardships and challenging experiences, but they are, in fact, a foundational part of the lesson plan for your soul's learning here on Earth. Like I said before, we're all here for a reason, if you believe that. And, everything that happens to us is a lesson. that we need to learn in order to grow and in order to reach enlightenment. So everything that comes into our path is a lesson. Continually seeking ease and expecting the universe to pave the way and clear all obstacles will leave you spiritually lazy. Embrace the challenges and allow them to train you to transcend beyond them into greater strength and light. So the message of the diamond, and sorry, I don't have any diamonds to show you, but I think most of you have probably know what a diamond looks like. Diamond is encouraging you to embrace the process of work that is required right now to transcend your current situation. It's not going to go away by itself, and the universe is not going to step in and take away all obstacles and difficulty. This is an opportunity for you to use your spiritual strength and personal power to overcome and transcend. You can experience deliverance by delivering yourself through your willingness to grow, change, and improve. And again, just reiterated, embrace the work that is required right now. You know, a lot of us have a lot of extra time. Things are slow right now. There's still, you know, even as some things are opening back up, we still might have, we're still in a time of stillness and slowness. So what's the work that you feel you need to do right now? Embrace it. Look within yourself. If you don't know what that work is, just keep looking within yourself and it will come to you. You know, the universe, I think a lot of people misinterpret The Secret and the law of attraction and think like, oh, if I just ask for it, it'll fall into my lap, you know, because I'm open to receive it. And it just doesn't work that way. Because of the fact that everything in our path is a lesson that we need to learn. So just remember that in everything that we're going through, what is it that we need to learn from this experience? What do you need to rise above? Is it an old belief, a past relationship, a current difficult situation? I think right now we are in a difficult situation. A lot of us might consider it that. So again, what's the lesson here? Personal power. We all have a personal power, and that is yours. And I think a lot of us give that away. I've given it away. I've given it away multiple times, and I'm in a space right now where I am taking my power back. Thank you, Nako, for some beautiful music medicine. It's just, that's the new album that's out, and one of the songs talks about taking your power back, and I think it's so important. It's easy to be manipulated into giving up our power. But remember, that is yours. That is nobody else's but yours, and you have every right to take your power back. Diamond is reminding you that the only way out is through. You can challenge yourself to face what needs to change head on. There's no easy way out. Every single path will have lessons and obstacles provided as part of your learning and spiritual training. Embrace this fact with curiosity and a sense of adventure, and you'll soon find that what felt impossible to overcome is actually the vehicle of your transcendence. Like we were talking about in the last card, the storm, like you got to ride out the storm. You got to go through it. You can't avoid it. It's easy to want to, hide under a rock while all this is going on in the world and just avoid it and think, oh, if I avoid it, it's going to go away. It's not going to go away. It's just like, I could use the analogy of sickness as we're going, dealing with, yes, there is real sickness in the world. and unknown, but a lot of medications are meant to treat the symptoms and not the cause. And if you treat the symptoms and not the cause, well, then the symptoms are constantly going to come back. So, it takes longer and you have to do more work. But, if you can find a way, and the way is out there to treat the cause and the root of the problems, then you won't have any more symptoms. So, and yes, that goes to say for any type of sickness, as well as just the obstacles that we're facing in the world today. So, what's the cause, and how do we fix the cause of all of our problems? If we can figure out that, then maybe we truly can transcend as a people and really create this beautiful world that we all are going to want to live in. So moving on to the third and final card, which is the spiritual aspect, which says, the third house is the spirit card. The ally in this position is bringing direction, messages, and guidance from your higher self and other beneficial guides who may be supporting you. This card indicates what your guides most want you to know or understand about your question or situation. It may indicate an action, an attitude, or an outcome, but it always indicates what you are meant to focus your heart and mind upon to bring about the highest possible outcome. And that just another reason why this type of reading, the Trinity reading, resonated with me is just, I think that is exactly what we are seeking. And even with my question of what the next step is that we need to take, this is where we're going to get our guidance and our clarity from the divine source, from our ancestors, from our spirit guides, on what that path is. We just, as I said before, you always have to be listening. Listen with your mind, listen with your mind's eye, and you'll find all of the answers and the truths that you seek. So, the card in the spiritual house is the garnet, which represents prosperity. Let me show you that card. It's an earth element card, which I love the fact that we got an earth element card in the spiritual house, just because I've been talking about the earth so much and earth healing. And I think that's at the core of everything, is healing our planet. And I just want you to resonate with the image on the card, because I'm going to talk about it in the beginning, about this image. You see the wine. It's just like, it looks very fertile and abundant. Garnet, prosperity. And I do have a garnet. I know it probably looks black to you. It's actually like a translucent, I don't know if you can see it in the sunlight. It's a translucent dark red. Almost like a similar color to ruby, but they're totally different stones. But yeah, it's really cool. Can you see the glimmer of red? All right, so let's talk about that. So the garnet, as I said, represents prosperity. The chakras are the earth heart and the muladhara, which is the root chakra. And the affirmation is, I receive abundance through all channels of the universe. In a fertile garden, a golden vessel full of new wine sits next to a cornucopia flowing with fruit and pyrope garnet gems. That's the image. Garnet is a stone of fertility, abundance, and prosperity. which is why it's an earth card, I think, because an earth element card, because, the earth provides. It's fertile. It is through your first chakra that you receive energy from the earth organism of which we are a part. Garnet is, and that the first chakra, they mean the root chakra. The root is at the base of your spine, your sit bones. It is through this cord that you can both receive energy sustenance from the earth organism, and offer her your light and energy in return, bringing you back into balance with the being within which you live. And that, I just imagine like this endless loop, because we are of the earth, and we go back to the earth as we return to dust, and then we come back out of the earth and then go back into it. It's just a constant repetition. We are all earth energy. Garnets carry an enriching and nourishing power. They encourage the flow of energy between the earth and humans and act as powerful cleansers and activators of the first chakra, initiating the Kundalini flow and an ecstatic fusing of the spiritual and material realms. Just speaking of Kundalini really quick, think of the Kundalini as it's represented as like a snake that's tightly wound in the base of your spine. I know you can't see to what I'm pointing to, but think of it in the base of your spine, the root. And when you're doing Kundalini meditations and Kundalini yogas, you are, trying to release that snake that's coiled up your spine and through your crown. It's called Kundalini rising. And so I feel like if your root chakra is blocked, then I really feel like your Kundalini is blocked, and you won't be able to allow that energy to rise up your spine and through your crown back to the divine source, if you have these blocks. So it's really important to unblock your chakras. You can use stones, any red stones. Red is the color of the root chakra. You can look up some different red stones and see what resonates with you the most. Do meditations, affirmations. There's a lot of chakra affirmations out there. I'll try to bring some next week to share with you. But anyways, excuse me, I've been doing Kundalini yoga. I got really into it last year, and prior to that, I'd done some Kundalini meditations, which were very helpful for me in my life and really helped change my life and get me on the path that I needed to be on. But yeah, so I got really into, yoga as well, and I found Noah Lakshmi, who I've been doing Kundalini yoga on her YouTube channel, which has been really just transforming for me, and just this whole process that I've been going through. And I've been doing, I'm almost finished with my second 40-day practice right now, which it's just really powerful to do something for 40 days, and to really allow the effects of it to change your life. So I'm on my second. I have about a week left of my second 40-day practice. It's been really transforming and really life-changing. And if you want to get into Kundalini yoga, you can do it on all levels. It doesn't matter if you've ever done any yoga before. I highly recommend checking out Noah Lakshmi's channel. She has all different levels of, she has more mellow, yin-infused practices, as well as some that are a little more cardio heavy, and you can choose, whatever resonates with you again. Don't force yourself to do anything that you don't want to do. You have to be open to receive. You have to want to do it and want to make the changes. So definitely check that out. Also, on another note, after I do my yoga, often just other videos will come up, and I listen to a lot of just music, just tones and stuff that are very soothing and meditative. And I really like this channel called Meditative Mind that's also on YouTube. And I just found it super interesting that I did not search for this. I put it on before I even started meditating on the cards. It's just what kind of came on after I finished my yoga, and like after I finished my Kriya and everything. It just moved into this, which I don't know if you can see it, but it's basically a chakra music for the root chakra and to open the root chakra. You can see the red, you can see the symbol for the root chakra, the Muladhara. So I would just, after I was going over the cards and everything and just seeing how much really all of these cards have talked about either the root or the crown, but I was just like, oh, how fitting that this was on. And then another thing, I totally always look at signs and symbols. I think life is just a series of symbols and signs that we have to look to lead us to the next place that we're meant to go. And so another thing that I noticed is the length of this root chakra video is 3 hours, 33 minutes, and 33 seconds. And 3 is my number. It's always resonated with me. 3, 33, really any number that has a 3 in it, but 3, 33, 13, like those numbers have just always resonated with me. So I was like, wow, this, I think that, you know, if you're open to receive, you will receive what you need to know and what you need to hear or what you need to see. And so I feel like, yes, this was meant for me, and maybe this was meant to be playing in the background of this reading, as we're talking a lot about the root chakra and unblocking the root chakra. I have a lot of lower back pain, and it's gotten to the point, you know, my line of work is not very forgiving. I'm a chef. It's not very forgiving on the body. But I also believe just spiritually, I see that as that I have some blockages in my root chakra, and I'm really working on that because to get that kundalini rising through my crown. And I think it's really, really important as I'm doing all this self-work is to unblock that chakra. So I'm really glad that that this reading came about today, that the cards came up that we needed to see, and that this root chakra meditation video came on as well. So anyways, let me get back to talking about the garnet and prosperity. If I can find out where my place was. I was talking about kundalini. So I'll just start from that paragraph again. Garnets carry an enriching and nourishing power. They encourage the flow of energy between the earth and humans and act as powerful cleansers and activators of the first chakra, initiating the kundalini flow and an ecstatic fusing of the spiritual and material realms. The fusion of energy and matter manifests in prosperity. By clearing and activating the grounding cord and the root chakra, garnets help one to understand the nature of real wealth. Prosperity is not about getting whatever you want and continually collecting and consuming more and more stuff in an attempt to prove your worth or fill an internal void. And that's what I talked about before. And I think the last card is just, you know, we use stuff to create this false happiness and to give ourselves some sort of status in the world, and it's just like not what life's about, and it's not what our divine purpose is, and we have to let go of the stuff. And prosperity doesn't mean, like it says, it doesn't mean just getting stuff, and it doesn't mean just calling to the universe and expecting whatever you want to fall in your lap. It is instead the ability to recognize that all needs have already been met by the energy of the divine. Your role as co-creator is to bring that energy into the form you choose as a way of best expressing your unique role on earth and your unique spirit. Being prosperous means being aware of your divine role of co-creator. And remember, we talked about co-creator being just your ability to choose the paths that you go down. You know, you have paths that are open to you and presented before you, and it's up to you. You know, you're at the wheel, so, you know, you decide which path to go down, and you find out if it's the right one. And maybe they're all the right one, and whichever one you choose is the one that you need at that time to learn the lesson. You know, even if it's like a detour to your eventual goal, you know, maybe you needed that detour to learn a specific lesson. I mean, definitely, because everything is a lesson. And if you look at life that way, then, you know, maybe things will be different for you. Garnets activate the remembrance that all life is interconnected, like the blanket. If you've seen our I Heart Huckabees, you know what I'm talking about. So all life is interconnected and springs from the same divine source. All life on earth is a part of the single organism in which we live, and every life form has a vital role within that organism. Seeing the divine in all creation and re-experiencing the limitless nurturing and provision of the universe are just two of the excellent side effects of resonating with this powerful ally. Garnet is very powerful. And I think, you know, it helps us, reminds us that we are of the earth. Our energy, our bodies, our physical bodies are of the earth, while our soul and spirit are of the divine. And it's just this constant, you know, we're constantly birthed back into a body that has come from the energy of the earth, you know, to continue learning the lessons that we need to learn. And hopefully we do learn them so that we don't have to keep coming back and repeating them. Because, I mean, nobody really wants to do the work twice, right? Like, you want to learn the lesson the first time, but you know what? Sometimes we don't, and all of us, I mean, I'm guilty of it too, of being stubborn and not wanting to see the lesson in something and continuing to make the same, you know, poor choices that aren't, or just choices that aren't resonating with you. And it's easy to do that, you know, to want to please other people or, you know, lovers or whatever. You know, sometimes people no longer serve you and you have to move on from them. And that doesn't mean that you can't love them from afar, but they're just not meant for you anymore. So just remember your power, again, like I said, your power, your personal power, that's personal and it lies within you, and you shouldn't, you know, allow anybody else to have that. Somebody that truly loves you and cares about you deeply would never, ever even try to take your personal power away from you. That's something that I've had to learn, you know, the hard way. Like I said, nothing's easy, but, you know, take your power back because it's yours and it was always yours. There are many different varieties of garnets, which with each having its unique way of supporting you in learning about prosperity and true abundance. The aluminum-bearing varieties such as almandine, grossular, pyrope, and spessartine focus on helping you to change your beliefs and thoughts about prosperity. This is particularly useful when you are living out old beliefs that were ingrained in you by your parents or family or culture or other external sources. And that kind of spoke to me just with the social injustice that's been going on in this world, the systemic racism that's going on for centuries. You know, I think a lot about, and even like political views and beliefs or whatever, I think a lot is just influenced by, you know, our ancestors, by our family, our immediate family, And we have to step back and wonder. We have to realize that we are our own. It doesn't matter where you come from, who you were birthed from. You are your own person, and you have your own divine purpose in this world. And in order to find that, you have to let go of all those things. You might hate a person or an entire race of people just because, your parents do, or your grandparents or your great-grandparents, and it tends to just spread. It's bred, in families where you're just raised being taught. Hate is taught. It's learned. It's not something that you're born with. So, you are being taught to hate a people, a race, a gender, whatever, a philosophy, a political view, because of what what past family members and ancestors believed, instead of being allowed to think for yourself and to find your own way and discover your own beliefs and your own belief system that is yours. Like I said, it's totally awesome to talk about your beliefs to anyone that wants to listen, but just because you might think what you believe is right doesn't mean that it is. None of us truly know what that is, and it can be different for different people. So it's really important to, while yes, you can share your beliefs, but don't force them. Never force them. Allow people to feel powerful enough to make their own choices. That's really important. I think a lot of our power is taken just from the time we're children, and, fortunately, I was brought up in a family where I was always allowed to be myself, whether or not my parents agreed with that or other family members agreed with that or not. I was always encouraged to be myself and to follow my dreams and to be my own person and have my own thoughts. And I'm very aware, and just I've known people in my life who didn't have that luxury, or it wasn't given to them, and they were afraid to take their power back because all they knew was being told who they were and who they were going to become. So it's just so important. Nobody can tell you who you are, and nobody can tell you what you were meant to be. That is something that is personal and only you know. And if you don't know what it is, you can discover it. It is never too late, and you're never too old to discover what your own personal power is, and who you are truly meant to be, and what you are truly meant to do, and what your thoughts really are. So just remember that. The chromium-bearing varieties of garnet, such as savarite and uvarovite, assist in healing emotional patterns around prosperity. Some varieties carry higher iron content, such as almandine and andradite. These also support your ability to ground your energy and clear your root chakra so that you can receive and enjoy the support and prosperity in your life. So if you're like me and you feel like you have some blockages in your root, then it's saying that the garnet stones with the higher iron content, such as almandine and actually the chromium-bearing varieties of garnet, is saying that can really help support the ability to ground your energy. And the root chakra does have to do with grounding. It's the chakra that is the most connected with the earth. And for me as a Taurus, I like to feel grounded in the earth. I'm an earth sign. I like to be in nature, and right now it's been a little challenging, but I definitely feel it. And maybe I need to go be in nature to help unblock my root chakra, truthfully. It's, for a long period of time. I've been here and there, but I need to make more of a point of getting back into nature. Connect with the energy of garnet through the root and heart chakras in order to receive its powerful teaching on the fulfillment that comes from opening to your co-creative role with the divine. When garnet appears in your reading, it is reminding you to open your eyes to the bounty and prosperity that the universe is offering you right now. The earth is the perfect vehicle for providing you with all that you could need to survive and thrive in physical form. Ask for what you need and acknowledge that this or something even better will be given to you. And shout out Nako again. We are so provided for. One of his songs says that. And it's true. We have everything that we need, and the earth provides, and the earth is fertile. And that is why it's so important to preserve her and to do things to take care of her. It doesn't make any sense to me at all why you wouldn't want to take care of the planet that you inhabit. I mean, you want to take care of your home. I think most people do. Your own home, the roof over your head. Well, think about it this way. The earth is all of our home. It houses all of us. And if the earth is sick, then all of us are going to be sick too. We have to take care of our planet. It's so important. It's so important. So, and the earth provides and will provide everything that we need, but we have to love and nurture her too. Humanity experienced the illusion of scarcity as an outgrowth of the illusion of separation. In truth, there is enough prosperity and wealth to ensure that every human's needs are met. It's only through your own ideas of scarcity that you staunch the flow of prosperity into your life. When you accept the prosperity of the universe, you are able to bear witness to the bounty of your birthright as a child of the divine creator. So something that triggered for me, I'm just thinking about how true it is that it's society's illusion of scarcity that drives us to fear that we are running out of something, that our needs won't be met, that that things are going to disappear, and that we have seen recently with the things that people are hoarding, like toilet paper and now paper towels, flour, yeast, hand sanitizer, Clorox wipes. It was never said that, hey, we're going to run out of this stuff, so you better get it while you can. It was just this fear, the fear that has been created by the government and the media, telling us what to do and think, that have driven people who are not awake and who have not searched within themselves and who are living their lives based on fear, which is easy to do. It was starting to get me in the beginning, I admit it, but being a person that's woke, I stopped and I said, hey, let me do my own research and come up with my own conclusions and know who I am and how I take care of my body, and let me decide for myself how I want to go forward. So, it's easy to allow fear to consume us, and it's easy, as people in society want to be like everyone else. They see one person doing it, monkey see, monkey do. If you've heard that phrase before, it's like, one monkey, one sheep sees the other one doing it, then they start to think, oh, why are they doing that? Maybe I need to do that too. But they don't even really know why they're doing it. Like I said, there's never really been this anything or any evidence of the fact that we're gonna run out of toilet paper or Clorox wipes or paper towels or whatever it is that people are hoarding. So there's really no need to do that. And just because people were doing that now, it's supply and demand. Now there's such a huge demand for it, because everyone jumped on the bandwagon, that now it is. Now we've created this scarcity because, things can only be produced as quickly as they can be produced. So, we might still have the resources to create these things, but it takes time to create them. And I'm sure there's some people, sitting with a garage full of toilet paper and paper towels and hand sanitizer. And I hope that they're happy with themselves. And actually, they're probably not happy with themselves. There's some other issues that need to be resolved there. And, a need to be open to receive the truth and the things that they really need to know. So you know what, if you are one of those people and you've landed on this video, which I don't know, it may not be something that you're seeking out, but there's still time. Like I said, there's always time to make changes and to become the person that you're truly meant to be, because ultimately that's your destiny. So you have to stop and remember what you're really here for. I don't know why some people are so worried about how they're going to wipe their ass, but all right. Anyways, Garnet is calling you to accept the gifts that have been set before you. Acknowledge those that you have received with gratitude, and affirm your belief in a prosperous and bountiful universe for all beings. Yes, exactly. For all beings. The earth provides for all of us, not just whoever can get to it first. So just remember that you inhabit a planet with 7 billion other people. So, she provides for all of us, not for one of us or for a select few of us. It doesn't matter what your social class is, what your race or your gender or your sexuality is. The Gaia provides. She provides. And we got to treat her right. It's really, really important. It is. It's so important to take care of our planet, to take care of our home, and to take care of each other, and to spread love and peace. There's a lot of negative. It's really important to be in a neutral mindset. And right now, you don't want to be too positive, because then you're not seeing the big picture. It's important to have positivity in your life and to try to bring positivity in your life. But right now, as I've said before, we're in a very negative zone, a negative mindset, in such a negative space. And I think we're in a real there's a lot of civil unrest going on right now, and I think it's super important to acknowledge this, to think about it, to think about what it represents and what people are asking for. Everyone just wants to be treated equally and to live in a better world, and we all deserve that. It doesn't make any sense. Nobody's better than anybody else, just because, of the color of their skin. Just because somebody has more melanin in their skin doesn't make them, I don't understand how that might make them less of a person. I think it's beautiful. I wish I had more melanin in my skin. I think it's such a beautiful thing. And there's reason for it, if you look about where we all come from, so there's a divine purpose for everything. So it's just when we're in too negative and we want to get back to a neutral mindset, we have to not only acknowledge the negativity and the way that we feel about it, but we have to think of the positive aspects that we can bring to the table, and the thoughts that we can emit. Positive does attract more positive, just as negative attracts more negative. And that we've seen for a lot of years now is just the buildup of this negative energy. So when we're spreading positive energy, we're attracting positive energy, and we're bringing our mindset into a more neutral state of mind. and bringing about better things for the whole world and for everybody. So it's really important to try to get there. Once we acknowledge what we're feeling and what we want, we have to be constructive with things, because if we're not constructive and we're only destructive, then we're not going to be taken seriously. So, we have to, being constructive means having ideas of a solution, so that we can all come to the table with, to figure out together what the next move is. Because I think the end game is to just have a better world to live in for every single human being and also for the planet. So what do we need to do to get there? And so to answer the question, I think the reading totally answered the question, but I guess to sum it all up is just know your own worth. Do not allow yourself to be fed by the hands of the system. Reconnect with the earth and be provided with everything you need to thrive. Magic is all around us, and we have the power within us to make a change. The first step is to let go of the chains that bind us to the past and think clearly about the kind of world we want to live in and to leave behind. So I think that just kind of sums up the entire reading. Thank you again for being here with me. I think for those of you who have found my videos, who you've been listening and you've been guided here, and to listen to me preach every week, and I do really appreciate that, and I'm so glad that you're here. And now that you've opened the doors and opened the floodgates, there's really no going back. You're gonna want to search within. You're gonna want answers. You're gonna want to know your divine purpose. And if you're here, if you've made it this far, all the way into week 11, then you are probably somebody who is receptive and open to receive all of the possibilities that are there for you to take advantage of, if you just listen to yourself and take your power back and just really be in tune with your own self and align your chakras and learn. In doing that, you'll learn everything that you need to know, and it takes time. And I think if you've made it this far, then you're willing to take the time to make the change. So good for you. Congratulations. You're amazing. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to leave you with a quote. Oh, actually, you know what? I did tell you that I was going to read you all the affirmations again. I did take out all my bookmarks. So let me read you the affirmations again, because if you are using these cards to meditate, then you might want to say some of these affirmations as you're meditating. They might be really helpful to you or help you clear your mind, which is an important thing to do when you're meditating. It's important to acknowledge your thoughts, but acknowledge them and let them go so that you can best clear your mind. So the affirmation for Labradorite, which was magic, the card for magic, is: I trust the divine to create miracles in my life. And the chakras that resonates with, that Labradorite resonates with, is the third eye. The third eye and the crown. Okay, so if you want to meditate on that, just you can think about the affirmation: I trust the divine to create miracles in my life. Okay, so the next one was diamond, which represented transcendence and all chakras, all of them down the line. You can meditate and clear your mind with this affirmation: I cultivate mastery by challenging myself to transcend difficulty. I cultivate mastery by challenging myself to transcend difficulty. And then the last one was the garnet, which is the symbol for prosperity, and the earth heart, and the muladhara, the root, which is really important. The root chakra. So if your root chakra needs balancing and needs clearing, you can meditate on this affirmation. I receive abundance through all channels of the universe. I receive abundance through all channels of the universe. So those, again, were just the affirmations. So if you do meditate on these readings, then that is for you. So now let me get back to the quote. I'm going to leave you with a quote. Thank you again for tuning in. Thank you so much for being here with me on this journey. I'm going to leave you with this quote from Alan Rickman, my muse, who I just think was one of the most amazing men to ever exist in this world, and I'm so glad to have existed in a time that he did. I think that he was one of the best of men. So he said, "It is a human need to be told stories. The more we're governed by idiots and have no control over our destinies, the more we need to tell stories to each other about who we are, why we are, where we come from, and what might be possible." So think about that as I leave you. Namaste.